Sometimes things don't work out as planned, and not many medical students talk about what happens when things go wrong.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Confessions of a Doctorholic with Hafsa Slayman. And if any of you need motivation, this is the episode for you. I've got a special friend on. He's so cool. He's got tats. He's really nice hair. Plays in a band, and also mad rugby skills. But today we're talking about something on a personal level. I've got Suresh on air. How are you?
Good. That was a mad intro. I think you oversold me.
No, I did not. This is what I tell people back home.
Thanks for having me, Hafsa.
Okay, so First of all, congratulations on being in second year of university. How does that feel?
Pretty bloody good. Took me a bit longer than others, but I'm here now, so it's good. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's the main thing. And I'm going to go right from the start. Put some salt in those wounds. You repeated our first year of medical school.
I sure did.
And you missed out by like 1%, right?
It was like 2 or 3%.
Okay.
I can't remember right now, but yeah, about 2 or 3%.
Okay.
It was marginal.
Okay, and what happened?
Obviously, last year, as you know, we had 2 sets of exams. And the first set of exams, I completely bombed it. And that came down to a few things, I feel. First thing being, I hadn't been back at university for about 3 or 4 years. So the whole process of like studying and getting into good habits was a bit tricky for me at the start. I think the other thing as well was, medicine's one of those things where you try for years to get in, and then someone accepts you, and you're excited. You're in this little bubble of, I guess, euphoria and the fact that you finally done it. And I think I was just stuck in that for a little bit too long. I didn't spend enough time working on things that I needed to work on. I was just going more on my strengths. And that's where the problems first arised. And then, I got the first results from that first set of examinations, and I was pretty horrified. I knew you could still come back from it, but it was going to be a big slog to come back from. And then we come around to the second set of exams, which I obviously prepared for a lot better. And after the first set of exams, I was looking at just having to straight up repeat. I wasn't even looking at the prospect of a resit. They were that bad, those scores. But after the second set of exams, I managed to bring it up so I could get the opportunity for a resit, which I was fortunate enough to do. And then I worked as hard as I could for those resits, but you've got to study the whole year's worth of content in about 2 or 3 weeks. So it's a big task, and just fell short at the end. It was about 3%, which stopped me from being in T year with you, which is obviously heartbreaking because you work so hard, and your family has put a lot into this, and it was tough. It was very tough.
Yeah, and what went through your head during that period? Like when you saw that 3%, what was like the first reaction?
I felt like I was robbed, to be honest, because you want to, like, at the end of the day, you're human and you want to find someone to blame for this. Yeah. But ultimately, the onus is on you. It was a tough lesson to learn, but it was one that I definitely learned. And, it was a tough realization and it was a tough pill to swallow. But, at the end of the day, talking to the people, my family who've been supporting me, they're encouraging me to see it more as an opportunity rather than a downfall. And that's what I did last year when I repeated. I saw it as an opportunity to learn more, and I did, and I was pretty happy with my results.
That's amazing. I don't know if I've told you before, but I really admire everything you've done, because I know, like, if that happened to me, I probably wouldn't have come back, like, because it's so shattering. Like, in my opinion, I would have thought, it like hurts your confidence. It makes you think what just happened there. And especially like, when you work hard, you're just like, oh my God, where did I go wrong and how do I improve? So I really admire you for so many reasons. And I'm going to get through a few more questions about that. So when you came back, was it difficult for you to come back into it and like start, the new year with like a new cohort and like knowing that like the rest of us were like in the year above.
Yeah, absolutely. It was weird. It was a bit embarrassing. I know it shouldn't have felt embarrassing, and people have told me that. But that's just the way you feel, because you know, all your friends have gone on and are doing this new exciting year, and you're doing what we did a year ago now.
Yeah.
So it was, of course, difficult, and you know, having to like systematically go through and tell everyone and have to say the same story over and over again. But hey, you just missed out. It gets frustrating, and it got to a point where, you know, I was living with Pruz. We were sitting down one day, and I was like, man, I'm done with this. Like, I'm done having to explain myself. Like, why do I feel guilty about it all the time?
Yeah.
And then he said to me, which is probably one of like the best things anyone said, was, he was like, why do you feel like you need to explain yourself to anyone? This is your journey. I'm not going to use the exact words he said, but along the lines of tell them to mind their own business, and it's your problem to deal with, not theirs.
That's true.
As soon as he said that to me, I was like, dude, that's spot on. And I mean, my family had been saying that to me as well. But to have someone who was in the same degree as me, and you know, Prue's one of my best friends here, really understand what I'm going through. Yeah, so it was tricky, and it was difficult, and it was a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
And you know, I went through the orientation week again, met all these people, and all of them, I like my new cohort, this new group of unreal people. You know, you got to see the positives in them. One of the major positives of me repeating was being lucky enough to land in such a rad cohort, such a good group of people around me, and I made some really, really good friends.
I really liked your strategy going into like the first year cohort. And was it ever weird? Were you ever like apprehensive about meeting them? Yeah,
of course. I was a bit apprehensive first about telling people that I was repeating the year.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want people to think less of me, I guess, or think that I wasn't as smart as them, or anything like that, which is just, now that I think about it, it's just the stupidest thing. I remember talking to Tommy and Olu about this, and they said to me, they were like, well, people can say whatever they want, it's the start. Get them to say the same thing to you at the end of at the end of the year, and then you know, if they can say that with confidence, then fine. But until then, like, people can say and think whatever they want.
Yeah.
None of them have done the year.
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, you know, even then, even if they've done the year, like, it's none of their business. Everyone's got a different journey. Like.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think I had to stop looking at it as such a negative, and I started looking at it as a positive, an opportunity.
Yeah.
And a second chance. And, you know, you don't always get those. You know, it was more just chin up, get on with it. And just be the best version of you, and try and knock this out of the park. And thankfully I was able to do that. Yeah,
that's amazing. And if you could change anything, what would it be?
Not failing the first set of exams.
Okay, let's just ignore that question.
No, but I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I would change anything. Because I think ultimately, even if I got through that resit, I probably would have ended up failing T year. Because I just scraped through, you know?
Yeah. What changes have you implemented since then? Like in terms of study and those kinds of things, what have you changed?
Main thing I changed, or main thing, not so much I changed, but I worked out, was what study technique works best for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first 4 or 5 months of this degree, when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing study-wise. Like, you know, I'd go and I'd work at the cafe or whatever for 8 hours or something with Saki, but when I think about it, like, there was, out of that 8 hours, mainly only 3 or 4 productive hours. The rest of the time you're either tired, or you're having a conversation with someone about how stupid this is, you know, or like, yeah. I'm sure you and I've had those conversations. But like, you know, and then you know, you think about, like, that's 4 hours of good study, 4 hours of just mucking around, when I could use that 4 hours to rest, and then get some more, like, you know, another 2 hours later in the day, that would have been better, more productive.
Yeah.
And I think what I found out most of all was to ask people for help when you don't understand something, or if you're struggling. Big part of me getting through that repeat year was asking people for help, which is not something I did.
Yeah.
And You know, it's to be honest, real talk, it's stupid not to ask for help. It's straight up stupid, especially doing something like medicine in our environment that we have here, where we built a community rather than a competitive kind of environment. It's more just, let's help everyone get through this together because we're all in this weird place together. It's stupid not to ask someone that knows stuff that you don't know. If you know, like
but it's easier said than done. So I understand both perspectives. I understand that obviously, like, it's like a no-brainer, like, ask people for help, but then at the same time, like, it takes a bit of like getting used to like who to ask. I still feel like you don't ask anyone, you know, like, you ask people that, like, you know, you can trust. You ask people that you know will give you like good advice and stuff.
Absolutely. You got to ask the right people. And you know, you'll find out who those people are, but once you know who they are and you don't know something, you ask them. Just say, what do you know about this? Can you try and explain it to me? Dumb it down for me. And just don't be afraid to sound stupid when you're asking your friends a question. Because they're your friends. They're not going to think you're stupid. They're just going to be like, he doesn't know it. So I'll try my best to explain it to them.
Yeah, that's amazing. So do you have any advice for anyone like going through the same thing?
My main advice is to see this as an opportunity. See it as something where you've got a second shot at this and you're going to take it with both hands, and just see it as a second opportunity. You know what's coming, so you know how to prepare. You know, right now, if you're repeating a year with a new group of people, you're already ahead. Keep that mindset and just work on yourself. Work on from the start. You know, you get the breakdown of where your fallings were. Work on those fallings straight away. Your strengths will stay your strengths. It's fine. But my main advice would be just don't see this as a loss. See this as an opportunity and an extra year of education that you get. Yeah,
that's amazing advice. All right, and if we want to follow your journey, where can we do that?
Hit up my Instagram, I guess. My Instagram is beer.dregs with a Z.
I guess we'll follow you there. And thank you so much for the interview.
Thanks, Hafsa. My pleasure.